guys. So it's another episode of Art and Our Entertainment, and we are talking about none other than The Last of Us. You see the thumbnail, you see it, you see the title. So it was a hit video game, a hit horror video game, and now it's going to be a hit show on HBO. So let's get into it. The Last of Us star Pedro Pascal dishes on the harrowing TV series. Details on the HBO's The Last of Us adaptation have been scarce since the network greenlit the TV series in 2020. Thankfully, the actor behind protagonist Joel Miller has generously shared a few updates regarding production, which began last July. In a recent interview, Pedro Pascal admitted The Last of Us has been a harrowing experience thus far, but the hard work will pay off soon. Remember when I told you guys before, I like creature features? Now this show right here, Last of Us, is gonna be full. It's gonna have a plethora of creature features, man. Let me show you guys a couple pictures right here, man. Here's a stalker, right? Because the monsters in this show, and I don't feel like I need to explain this, but the monsters in this show are actual people that have been infected with a spore, right? So it's basically a dangerous mutating fungus that once it gets inside people's systems, respiratory systems, and the body, it just mutates them. So this is the aftermath of what that fungus does. Like, check this out. That is incredible. Here's another one. And I know they're gonna save this one for like later down the road because this one was actually in part two of the video game. So yeah, I know they're gonna save this. This is a crazy monster, man. I know he's gonna be like a big reveal. It kind of reminds me of the Thing a little bit. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. They call this character the Rat King, and so when you're escaping him, I mean, eventually you have to confront him because he's a boss that you fight, but you got to run for your damn life when you see this character, and it's called. So, long story short, what happens with that character is how it came to be was there's like a as the hospitals are getting full and this virus or this spore starts to spread in the early days. In the beginning of it, they put all the sickest people at the bottom of the hospital, and as it got progressively worse and people got progressively sicker, the infection got progressively worse. They locked it up. They locked this bottom area up and only let probably classified people in there to help the sick, but it just kept getting worse and worse, and eventually they just sent people there to die that were really really sick, that were basically like you know the, the critical patients. They sent them there, and eventually they locked the area up because it was probably got too dangerous for people to even help the sick in there because it's spores in the air too. That's the whole premise of this infection. There's spores. So if you're not careful, you can get it too. And so they locked this area up in the hospital, and eventually, you know, it's spreading, right? It's spreading. So one way or another, these people, and then like it got crazy in there. So yeah, this thing grows. The fungus grows on the walls and shit, and then people, the infected can get stuck to the walls, and they can basically. I mean, it's like fungus. Like, think of it like a fungus, man. That's exactly what it is. These creatures can be, attached to the walls, the floors. They just rip out of the walls and the floors. It's just horrifying. So I can only imagine what this will look like being in the hands of HBO. Oh yeah, and check out gamer A&H. Check his channel out. He's pretty dope. Back to the interview. So Pedro Pascal previously said that The Last of Us adaptation won't disappoint fans. Naughty Dog's hit PlayStation video game The Last of Us takes place in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by mutated fungus that infects humans and turns them into deadly cannibalistic creatures. A hardened smuggler named Joel must escort a young girl named Ellie across the U.S., and they must rely on each other for survival. A sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, continues Ellie's journey, 5 years later. HBO's adaptation will recreate the stories told in the games with Pascal as Joe and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Chernobyl writer Craig Mazin serves as writer along with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann. Y'all go check out Chernobyl too, man. I got that series. It's on HBO as well. It was a heart wrencher, man, but it was a great story nonetheless, man. Obviously, you know, we know what happened in Chernobyl, but it's definitely worth watching. And I had actually been meaning to watch that for so long, and then when I actually got it and I watched it, I was like, wow, like I'm glad I watched it. It was really, it was really humbling. You know what I'm saying? Just to realize what happened and the gravity of that situation. But yeah, let's get back to it. So, speaking to German magazine Neelix, translated by IGN last month, Pascal assured fans that HBO's adaptation would more than live up to the original games. He says, in quote, I have absolutely no doubts that we won't disappoint fans of the game or new viewers alike. So it says, so HBO is currently filming the expensive Last of Us series in Alberta, Canada. Pascal stepped away from the project for a night to attend the premiere of his new film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, on March 12th. I actually want to see that. I think that's really funny that Nicolas Cage keeps making these movies that I want to see. Like, I just want him to keep making movies forever, man, because the thing about Nicolas Cage is he has this ability to make like 10 movies that I don't want to see like in a row, and then he'll just come out with like 5 movies that I want to see, and I'm like, how does he do this? Like, he'll be like cold and then he'll be hot and have all these different movies that I want to see. um uh yeah, he's had some good movies. But where was I? So yeah, he was on his premiere for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent on March 12th. However, he took a moment to open up about The Last of Us with comicbook.com. According to Pascal, the production has been very immersive, just like the games. He says, in quote, it is covered in clickers and spores, the infected in The Last of Us, and the elements of Alberta, and we're having an amazing time. It's totally harrowing, he says. Pascal joked that he's not sure he'll make it to the end of production. However, if he does, it will be completely worth it, he says. Pedro Pascal was being a little funny right there. If you know about the games, if you don't know about the games, spoiler alert, in the second game of The Last of Us, Joel is killed. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to do it verbatim. Um, honestly, they probably, I mean, they got to do it. I mean, they got to do it. I don't even know how long they're planning on making this a thing, because they only got 2 video games to really get, their source material from. So I'm pretty sure they're going to add some stuff. But, anyways, HBO's chief content officer, Casey Bloys, said the series likely won't arrive until 2023. He says they are still shooting in Canada. So we got till 2023, man, and that's a ways away. Well, yeah, a couple months away. About 8 months, right? Um, but about 8 or 9 months. But we'll see, man. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this. I'm pretty excited. I think there's so much that they can cover. Um, yeah, man. I want to see a little bit of how it began, and they're gonna obviously they're gonna shoot us straight to the current, the present. But I definitely want to see the beginning of this. I mean, that's how the game started, and it was awesome. And then the game also jumped to the future, and there's this big apocalyptic world that's filled with all these fungus infected people that look like hell on earth. So yeah, man, keep a lookout for The Last of Us coming out on HBO. Yeah.